Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. I did not expect to do this extra upload today, but considering a number of things I had mentioned earlier on my community tab, and many people seem to have read it because I got a number of likes on it. So that tells me you read it. Okay. Um, I am slash was and still might consider disabling the comments for a couple of days. It's not going to happen any time today or tomorrow, but it'll just happen randomly. If you see that, just know that it is Janet doing that. Myself, by choice, for a couple of days. I want to see something. I am conducting an experiment, a technological experiment. I want to see something because I noticed a few things and I have a suspicion about something. And me being the prepared kind of person that I am, I like to find out things. There you go. And I also like to take action on things. That's the way I am. And that's what we're going to talk about today on this unexpected upload. Let me find an intro sound. We haven't heard an intro sound in a while. Let me play this one considering certain things are so negative lately. Let's play this one. It has a happy sound. Right? That sound is always a happy, upbeat sound. Am I right or am I right? I know I'm right on that one for sure. We talk often enough about being prepared with our stockpiles, which is absolutely essential. Essential. Being prepared sure beats not being prepared. And if there was ever a week, and I can't get into item specifics, but fill in the blanks, you could figure it out. These last few days, absolutely unthinkable horror and terrible, absolutely terrible situation, news events. You see where I'm going with that. And it makes me wonder. Now, we talk a lot about being prepared, and we should be prepared with our stockpiles and things of that nature. But that's mainly for when you are remaining in place and at home. Got a terrible weather event and you're hunkering down, you're in your home or apartment or whatever space that you're in. I always take into account, by the way, different spaces. Not everybody lives in a big old house, not everybody lives in a, furnished apartment or, an apartment period, whatever. Some people are living in recreational areas, cars, whatever it is it takes, corners of rooms, because this is the reality of life today. This is the reality of life. So I want to make sure that I include everyone. It's not just about people that live in houses. Okay. Now, speaking of houses, I guess that ended up being an unexpected good segue for me. Seeing the events that have unfolded on the news. Now, mainly, as you know, I do my recordings a couple days in advance, not this one. This one I am recording on actual Saturday, January 11th. And as you know, been watching the news all week. And for those who have been directly involved and going through this, our hearts go out. Okay. Our hearts absolutely, and prayers. In my case, I pray specifically. This is not good. Now, can you imagine? And here's my question for this day, for this unexpected video. Okay. Here's my question. How ready would you say you are if all of a sudden you get an alert like that on your phone? Uh, 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 uh. I don't know. Maybe some might say, I'm totally ready, Jan. Well, that's wonderful. Congratulations. But I have a suspicion that there may be some people who are semi ready. And I would say that I'm just guessing. I have no way of determining that as positive proof. But I don't know why. I get the feeling that there are many people who are semi-ready in that area, right? More than the people who are, I am 100% ready. Okay. To be honest with you, I can't say that there really would be a 100% readiness, because when you get an emergency, you're not necessarily sure what the emergency is going to be. You're not exactly sure. Everything's like sort of like customized, if you will, for emergent situations. Okay. Now, when we're at home and we're hunkering down at home, because we know, for example, that we expect, I'm just using this as an example. Let's say I'm watching the news and it tells me a week and a half in advance, we're going to expect a terrible weather event. We're going to get a blizzard. We could see up to 2 feet of snow. All right. Hey, let me tell you something. Nothing is beyond possibility. Okay. Am I going to not take any action to help me get through that? No, of course not. I'm going to make sure I have enough provisions. I'm going to make sure everything is charged up. I'm going to presume. I'm going to act as if there may be a power outage. I'm going to pretend. You know what? In about a week and a half, there's about a 85% probability rate that the power is going to go out. I'm just saying, this is little tricks that I play in my mind's eye. But how prepared are you for the times you don't get, in my opinion, the luxury, even if it's a bad event, but the luxury of remaining in your own home or apartment or space? Excuse me, please. Sorry about that. A little dry air in here, when the heat's on, and that little dry cough you get every now and again. And of course, it's only 6:27 in the morning on Saturday morning, January 11th, as I record this. Okay. This week has been life altering for so many people in that situation that I can't talk about specifically. Okay. Because I noticed that whenever certain channels talk about certain things, all of a sudden, the video goes away magically. And we don't like that. So rather than that, I don't get item specific, but fill in the blanks. I mean, 99% of the folks listening to me are, have seen the news at least at some point in the last 7 days. Now, a week ago, ironically, a week ago, before this whole big old thing occurred, if you recall, I did a video about I'm baffled. And one of the baffling things to me is that, when people just do everything at the last minute, everything. And I'm not even talking about what occurred this week, because that thing didn't occur yet. And who knew that was going to happen? I certainly didn't know that was going to happen, right? You didn't know that was going to happen. Even the people there pretty much kind of maybe didn't know that was going to happen. And yet what happened is of biblical proportion, the damage done. I look back in 2001 in my area, okay, when that a major event occurred in 2001 in the 9th month of the year, okay. Yeah, you see where I'm going with that? Nobody woke up saying, hey, this is going to be the day, that you're going to hear this on the news. No, absolutely not. And I was only a couple blocks away from there. Okay. I mean, but now let's talk about something that I thoroughly have to figure out. Like literally, like I think I'm kind of prepared, but I have a long way to go. I'm talking about, like, heaven forbid that there's ever a situation when people have to leave their home or apartment. Not just hang out and enjoy their stockpile that they worked hard for and hunker down and, maybe get to watch a movie or two, kick back slightly on that kind of a day. No, there's a big difference. Okay. There's a big difference when a person gets a knock on the door or their phone gives them an alert. And it's not like, no, not hunkering down. You're hunkering out. You have to be ready to leave. Now, majority of my videos are always very positive. And I would like to consider this one a positive. Why? Even though we're talking about sad events or whatever, this is real life. But we could remain upbeat and we could remain positive about taking the time now, okay, to do the necessary planning. On a scale of 1 to 10, ask yourself, only you can answer this, okay, for yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, in your heart of hearts, how prepared are you or family for that unexpected alert knock on the door? And I mean, do you have those bags that they tell you to be ready, to have? What would you put in those? Now, when it's a quiet time, let's say, for example, got to clear my throat again. Excuse me. This is the result of when you talk for a living. I'm just saying, get a lot of like laryngitis, vocal straining, yakety, 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 yak. But what I have to say, I believe is important. In so much as we are, hopefully, a lot of us have really taken it more seriously about stockpiling provisions for at home for when we're hunkering down at home. And by the way, I could even say, honestly, even as of a few years ago, a lot of people laughed it off, including me, because I always made sure that there was at the very least 2 weeks of, food and stuff like that. That was just a given all the time. But then I learned, you got to bump it up a little bit, and like when we had that Superstorm Sandy back in the day, okay? And my mom and I were ready when a lot of people laughed it off because the previous year we were told the same thing. There was a big storm coming, then it was averted. The storm decided to blow off to sea, and it didn't happen for us. And people like, you got all those things. So we got all those things. So what? We were still ahead of the game for the future. These are things we're going to need anyway. But that is a different world from the world of knock on the door. You have an hour or two to go bye-bye out. Where do your priorities lie? Is it on paperwork? Is it on what kind of stuff to keep on your person, like identification, things of that nature? There are many videos out there, and if you happen to have a moment today or tomorrow or in the very near future, I would strongly suggest, and I'm going to do this myself, okay? So I'm not like just saying, like, I'm just like talking at you. I'm talking with you, and I'm including me, okay, on this one. I think, in my honest opinion, a strong suggestion, okay, that it's a great idea to sit down with a couple of really informative videos in reference to that. I don't think, tell me, let me know in the comment section below. I'm leaving the comments on for this video. Let me know in the comment section below if you think that in our schools, for example, there should be like literally a course for emergency preparedness. Who thinks that that would be a good idea? Let me know yes or no in the comment section below. Yes, you agree that it would be a great idea to have emergency preparedness courses. It doesn't have to be, a lengthy thing. It could be even an hour a week for a few weeks or a month. You see where I'm going with that? Something. I mean, maybe that's going on in certain places. I don't know that. But I think as a standardized rule in the schools, I think there's a lot to be said about that, in my honest. This has been a very, very strange week between crazy, storms, that happen, and then of course the unthinkable. I mean, I look at like those images of those areas. It's like, what? Like, really? Seriously? And of course, for those people, they're like in it. I mean, I'll give you an example. After back in 2001, okay, we had wonderful, wonderful, strong, specific guidelines. Okay, so that was very helpful to a very upset area. If you don't have that, in my opinion, that's bad. That's bad. People are frightened. What direction, what do you do? What do you do? And then, of course, speaking of health-wise, this is going to have devastating effects on people's health, in my honest. Because, I mean, those air particulates, people to this day, are suing in this area if they were like down, in that area, in on that day back in '01. It's 24 years later. People are suing still. People are affected physically still. This didn't go away just on that day. So there are just so many variables. And I don't want to be like a Janet Downer. You know what I'm saying? But this is real life. And sometimes we have to talk about, real life situations. Okay. And unfortunately, I cannot be clearer for obvious reasons at this time. Maybe in the future, hopefully. I see a shift in thinking, um, you know, and so let's see what happens, with all that. But as far as being ready, it is wonderful and necessary to stockpile, stockpile, stockpile. But now we also have to consider what happens if we ever get that dreaded alert or that dreaded knock on the door for news unthinkable. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to click like, because I tell you now, there must have been some sort of an algorithmic change. Okay. And I hear others complaining of the same thing. So the like button is extremely important. Sharing this video, very, very important because, people's time is valuable. People don't want to, I hate to say it this way, waste their time on projects that are really just, well, not worth their time. Anyway, you have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care of yourself and your wonderful family.